is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Guys, we're going to be reacting here to all the incompletions that Anthony Richardson had on Sunday against the Detroit Lions. Shout out to Landon Oliver for putting this little clips together here from the broadcast. This was every incompletion that Anthony Richardson had. Now, this does not include, all of the throws that he did make that were called back because of penalties. There were actually quite a few more that are not about to be shown on this. This is just what was marked down as incompletions. And remember, there were 17 of them in this last game, but we're going to give context to this. But once again, as I digress here again, Anthony Richardson had a couple different throws throughout the game that ended up getting called back because of penalties. So take that with a grain of salt here as well. Cody, got anything before we start this?
I think this will be definitely eye-opening just to kind of sit and watch and kind of discuss a little bit because, in reality, Derek, there are going to be some bad throws that AR has in this game, but also it'll give some context into why you and I, and not just us, a lot of others have been so vocal about the fact that, hey, the stats, the box score, if you're watching the box score and making a determination, you're wrong. You're wrong on this game. So I'm intrigued to see this, and I think this will definitely open up some eyes, hopefully, as we watch this and kind of see some of these incompletions and understand, yes, it wasn't perfect, especially in that fourth quarter, but there's a lot that was left on the field here, and it's not AR's fault on that department.
Now, remember, this first clip right here that you're about to see, this was a 3rd and 6. This was from the first drive that the Indianapolis Colts had in this game. And remember, it was previously 3rd and 1, but because of a Quentin Nelson penalty, it moved them back to 3rd and 6. And then this play, so you're going to see here, first incompletion, just down the middle of the gut. Anthony Richardson just has nowhere to go anywhere. Everything is covered. And Anthony Richardson, Cody, just has to throw it away, basically. Tried to let it progress, but then just decided, okay, I'm just going to throw it out of bounds and just not let anybody get it. What'd you think here?
Yeah, like you said, pressure on his face. Nobody's open. So for me, Derek, I kind of look at that, and I even said this a little bit ago. We were kind of doing the preview, and we've talked about AR and all that stuff from this game. And I view that, Derek, as progress. And a lot of people might look at that and be like, well, how you call an incompletion progress? Well, Derek, he wasn't trying to do too much there. He understood blitz is coming. Guys aren't open. I just got to get rid of this. We can settle for 3 here. Like, I'm okay with that. As much as I don't want to be okay with that, Derek, I do wonder if a couple weeks ago or, back in September or October, if AR wouldn't have thrown that away. If he would have tried to fit it in and maybe it's a turnover. So a lot of people won't view that as progress and progression and growth, but I do view that as that. So I'm not too upset about that. Throw the ball away. If there's nobody there, guys are in your face, don't hold on to it and make a bad play worse. So I'm okay with that.
Yep. And again, the situation, had it would have been 4th and 1 or 3rd and 1, then things could have been a little different for the Indianapolis Colts. But, again, got put behind the 8 ball again. All right, the next incompletion here. This is going to be that Alec Pierce bomb that was just off the fingertips, Cody. Again, if you look at this closely, Richardson doesn't get the chance to step up into the throw because at the very last second, Quentin Nelson is getting blown up, and then he gets hit as he throws this. And I got to imagine, Cody, that might have had something to do with it. Had Anthony Richardson had a split second longer to be able to step into this throw, that might have been an Alec Pierce, that might have been an Alec Pierce touchdown, Cody.
Yeah, you're right. There's pressure. Again, you'll notice a common trend here. Pressure in his face. Again, Derek, he can't step into that throw. It's just maybe he could have, a little earlier, maybe made that, stepped it up that little bit more there. Maybe. But, maybe. Again, he had a defender in his face. He threw that up. Pierce, even though it was just that much But that does make the difference, Derek. And that's a big miss right there. And again, blame AR, don't blame AR there, but man, that could have been a huge play right there. It really could have. And yeah, Pierce maybe could have caught that, maybe. But again, that was not necessarily the best ball there. But
Yeah.
like you said, when you're not able to step up and fully make that throw, it's not going to be completely accurate. So yeah, you're right there.
All right. Third throw here. This is the infamous one, Cody. The dropped touchdown pass by Drew Ogletree. And I mean,
Okay.
this was perfect design here by the Indianapolis Colts and Anthony Richardson here, because Richardson actually looks off the linebacker in the middle, and then Ogletree just slips right behind. Perfect. And it most likely would have been a touchdown had he just fallen forward. If not, it would have been a first down at the half-yard line, and 99% sure that the Colts would have scored a touchdown. I mean, Cody, again, this is, I mean, how much better can it possibly get for you? I mean, that ball is in the breadbasket. It's there perfectly, right in the spot exactly where it needed to be.
Yeah.
And his receiver failed him once again.
Yep. And it's like you can't really make a better throw. And credit to AR finding him wide open. Credit to Shane Steichen getting him that wide open. But again, yeah, he just missed it. Like I don't know what else to say there. It almost looked like he stopped a little bit. He kind of paused there. If you'll kind of play it there, he kind of paused it. He kind of paused his running, like he wasn't ready. Here, let's play it real quick. I want to show you. It's kind of stops there, but then like you think, okay, he's just waiting for the ball, but then he doesn't even haul it in there. So I don't know, man, if he should have just kept running there or what he needed to do.
I think he dug in at the spot he needed to be in. I think he just started turning up the field before he decided to secure it.
Yeah, it's like that old cliche of like you started running before you caught the ball, right? You started running before you actually secured the catch. And that's what happened there. And so, I mean, that's clearly, like you said, it dropped a misplay, missed opportunity right there. And ultimately, Derek, that's difference from, going up 10 to 7 and, cutting it to 1. And then that's a big deal right there. That's a momentum killer right there. And it's, 2nd and 10. So even if he does catch that and somehow he's short, I mean, that's still a very easy, touchdown right there. It's pretty much a gimme at that point. And at least it's a first down. And you go from, first and goal to 1 to 3rd and 10, outside of the 10. So, I mean, that's huge. That's huge momentum swing right there.
Yep. 100%. And, again, that's what I was saying in the Houston game before he got benched. I mean, there were 4 different instances just like this one where Anthony Richardson put a ball for his receiver to catch it at inside the end zone. And it either got called back or his receiver didn't catch it. I mean, it's become a trend where, sure, Anthony Richardson has quite a few throws over the span of this year that he is definitely not good. But at the same time, his weapons have failed him. And this is another example of just that, where another weapon failing to secure it. And I believe this is actually the next play. So again, Indianapolis Colts, they should have had a touchdown, but here we are. And we're in a situation where there's just another incompletion. And I mean, Cody, honestly, I mean, there's nothing open. Like, I mean, nobody's open. Obviously, this is supposed to go to Josh Downs, but nothing is open. I mean, there's virtually nothing that Anthony Richardson could have done on this play. I mean, this was a dud from the start. Now, obviously, due to the fact that he stared down Josh Downs for this, clearly didn't help to get Josh Downs open. But obviously, Brian Branch was all over it from the get-go. I mean, at least he threw it away to the point where a defender couldn't get it. So, I mean, there's that one.
Yeah, he could have thrown that a little quicker, but still, even if he does, he's short by 2 yards of that first down marker. So there really isn't, in this instant, there is no first down play, in that situation. Now, Yeah, if you pull it back here just for a second, I want to just kind of point that out real quick. So, he probably, but again, there's a defender sitting right there. So we'd have to fit it into this really tight window up at the top there. And I think he had to kind of wait to see where this defender went in certain ways, Derek. And that defender, I think by the time if that defender's not there, I think he could hit, Josh Downs right there, like right about there. He can start throwing it, but he has to wait. I think he has to wait a little bit there, because that defender's kind of sitting in the middle right there. And as soon as that defender goes off a little bit, then he throws it. But it's too late at that point. So, yeah, it really is not a win situation there. And it's obviously not ideal on 3rd and long there. But, yeah, I mean, he could have thrown a little bit earlier, but who knows? That could have been a turnover. So, yeah, it's really not a win. I didn't really love that play design right there of really not having anybody running beyond the sticks there. But, yeah, so he could have thrown it maybe a little bit earlier, but also, yeah, you're 3rd and long and, you're within your own red zone. It's obviously a lot tougher and, in that, within the 20 there to find guys open in certain ways. So,
and again, you wouldn't have to be in that situation had you would have executed on the touchdown in the first place.
Exactly.
And then this one, Anthony Richardson trying to make something out of nothing here. Again, he kind of gets hit at the last second, Cody. Again, not able to step up into the throw. Not like it really would have mattered anyway. My problem is he should have been able to hit Josh Downs in the middle of the field here. So watch this. So Downs here is free in this spot. And if you let this go just a little bit. Now, the problem is if he would have even tried to hit Downs, I mean, again, look right here. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing. That play is blown up right here. I mean, if he doesn't throw this right here, it's a sack. So, I mean, there's nothing open. So, I mean, like, yes, Downs is just now breaking, but he's not seeing that. He's not seeing that. So, like, my thing is darn, had he been given another half second to hit Downs, because this safety commits to over here, you could have seen Josh Downs down the seam maybe. But the problem is he doesn't get that extra half second to be able to make that read, because by the time he does, he's already being sacked. So, I mean, again, just another play where Richardson had to throw something that just wasn't there.
Yeah, he's got a defender taking him out as he's releasing that. So he doesn't even have time to look at Josh Downs, in his direction. He kind of just has to throw up a prayer there. And, Alec Pierce is your best jump ball guy. Give him an opportunity. Yeah, so, I mean, double coverage, you don't ever want to throw in double coverage. But I think if there's any receiver, you're going to kind of throw a prayer up to. And at the worst case, like it happened in this one, it's out of bounds. It's incomplete. Nobody really gets it there. And Pierce still had an opportunity, although very little there, to do that. But, yeah, it really does, like when a defender's blowing it up and you're literally getting tackled as you're throwing that thing. I can't fault AR there because he didn't have time to look at Josh Downs. He just did not have the time.
Yep. It was a common trend from the game. Anthony Richardson not having the time. Now this was from when the previous 2 plays. So Anthony Richardson had just completed a pass to Kylan Granson for 20 yards, but it got called back because of Ogletree. And then the next play after, the Colts ran the ball for 1 yard. So now you're at a 2nd and 19. Now we have this situation. And, I mean, flat out, Richardson pretty much just misses him here, Cody. I mean, you definitely could have seen it to where Richardson probably should have hit that sooner.
Yeah, he should.
I mean, yeah, a smidget faster, and he probably should have hit him there. Not like it really would have resulted in a whole lot of yards after catch. But, yeah, that's one of those where I think Richardson definitely could have, hit Josh Downs if he was just a little bit quicker with the release.
A little quicker and obviously way too high there. So, yeah, I mean, just the timing just seemed off there from both of them.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that one's a miss. We'll count that. That's 100% on AR.
Yeah, that is an AR miss. Well, and then you get to this one right here. I don't even remember this. So this one was kind of I couldn't tell here. So, like, for me, Cody, like, I think what happened here is look, AR has this ball out already. It's
Yeah.
almost halfway to Adonai Mitchell. And look, he's still engaged with the corner. He's still engaged. So, I mean, the problem that you have here is like, but and look, the corner still has his arm. The corner still has his left arm. So by the time that ball is within 10 feet of him, Adonai Mitchell is still not in a position ready to make this catch. So, like, you just get to it and then it just goes past him, right? Like, it just was not a play where, I mean, Adonai Mitchell should have been out of position already right now. Like, he should have been out of that break, but he's still in it. And so I think there was, again, another miscommunication here. And I will say also, I don't like AR's feet on this. I don't like how he opens his hips and he finishes this with his back foot finishing in front of him. I don't like that.
Yeah, and I mean, Derek, we know that he's still going to resort back to those things. Like he still has a lot of those bad habits that he's developed over the years. So, I mean, certainly it's been better. But Derek, I mean, yeah, we know he's still got a long way to go to not be doing that because he still does that. He still does that and has those inaccurate throws there. But I don't know, Derek, was it AD Mitchell running the wrong route? It kind of seemed like it might have been there. And also just if that's the play, Derek, that's poor design by Shane Steichen. I'm sorry, but I hate those plays where it's 3rd and long and you're not throwing past the sticks. I just hate that. Like, why are you giving up? I just hate that play call. I just feel like that's been a lot this year with Shane Steichen where it's just been these, I just think some very bad decisions on 3rd and long. It's like you're kind of just, I don't know what that even speaks to your offense where you just don't have any faith that your offense can convert. And I mean, that stuff matters, Derek. That stuff matters when you're literally play calling, punting the ball. I hate that. And that's why I think Shane, in a lot of ways, as a play caller, has taken a major step back. I think he's at a major sophomore slump in terms of his play calling. And yeah, it's been better in recent weeks, but Derek, he's got to do some self-evaluation because that's not right. I just hate that. I hate that for this offense.
Definitely wasn't good. We'll watch this one here, see what we got. So this was a 1st and 10. And then this is the infamous one right here. So for people in context, so Granson is the hot route. So there's every single one, there's a hot route. And the receiver or tight end should know if they're the hot route that if you are wide open, you need to look back very quickly to make this play. And obviously, when you look at it right here, nobody. They're bringing 6. So it's obviously man coverage, and the safeties are way back. I mean, Cody, the safeties are literally like 15 yards back. Their main objective is just to hope that Anthony Richardson doesn't see one of these guys, and then by the time he figures it out, the pressure will have already gotten there. So at this point right here, I mean, Richardson knows right here at this moment, he's wide open. There's nobody within 10 yards of Kylan Granson.
Yeah.
So he releases it. And again, by the time he releases it from his hand, Granson still has not looked. Granson now finally looks. So the ball is halfway to him at this point, Cody. And Kylan Granson doesn't know it's coming. And at that point, it's just, he doesn't reach it and he doesn't realize. So he turned his head way too late.
Yeah, and it's often been a thing with Granson this year where he's just not on the same page. Like he just almost doesn't seem like he knows how to play the tight end position when it comes to catching the ball sometimes. It's just every time that I feel like there's a miscommunication, it's Granson. It just feels like that's been the thing this year. You know, Ogletree had the drop, but it wasn't a miscommunication. So I don't know, Derek. I kind of am just looking at this tight end room. I mean, we've already seen 2 big plays. I mean, honestly, if you want to talk about multiple other plays, that the tight ends just frankly wiped out because of their incompetence. So, I mean, Derek, I'm all for on offense. In my opinion, the biggest need has to be a legitimate tight end because there's a big reason why, the Colts tight ends are what they are, and they've only caught 26 passes this year.
I mean, look at this.
None of them are reliable. They're all bad. They're all bad. Like how?
Look at this. Like, I mean, you catch this right here. You have 10 yards of space between
That's
you and the safety.
easily a 20-plus yard play right there.
Yep. So, I mean, it's again just another one of those things where, I mean, Anthony Richardson sees it and puts it in a spot where the tight end can get it, and the tight end just isn't ready for it.
Yeah.
And, it's just another
So
one of
bad.
those plays.
So bad.
All right, we go on to the next one here. Again, had Richardson actually he could have thrown this like a split second earlier, but I think by the time Cody he actually realizes this is open, because again, remember, right here, Richardson has to decide, like the linebacker has to decide here. He's either going to commit to the tight end coming down, or he's going to commit to Josh Downs going in the drag, right? So Richardson has to wait to watch what this guy does with his hips and then make the decision. But if I just move it one frame closer, bam, somebody's taking out his leg. Yeah. So again, it's another one of those things where it's like, had you given him a split second longer to make this throw, he hits him right here. And then it's at least a 10-yard play, if not more. Right, Cody? So
yeah, I mean, I know a majority is like offensive line here because, like you said, right when the defender commits there, that linebacker commits, he's already getting hit there. He's already getting somebody taking out his leg. But I guess if I'm AR there, Derek, if I can critique him just for a second, again, you can't account for your offensive line not being able to block you or me. But one thing that he probably could have done and probably should have done in that instance is probably should have just thrown it to Josh Downs anyway, because let's be honest, no linebackers catching Josh Downs there.
You're right.
So I'd probably just say, I mean, again, it's on the offensive line. Don't hear me wrong here. But if you're going to anybody, go to Josh Downs there, quick. Yeah. Real quick, just throw it to him. And that would be my only thing there. But again, like it's hard to do anything when you're constantly being hit. You're under duress. I mean, I understand that. So the majority's on the offensive line, but maybe AR should have just thrown it a little bit earlier there. But again, hindsight's always 20/20, Derek. You can always say maybe he should have done this or that, but in the heat of the moment, when you're trying to make a decision and you're constantly being hit, it's hard to make those decisions. So again, like offensive line again continues to fail.
All right, this is the failed attempt of the flea flicker.
That was just a pathetic attempt by Taylor there. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, and like say whatever you want about the throw, but like the play is doomed when Anthony Richardson has to go to the ground, secure the ball, get back up, and then immediately by the time he gets a chance, Cody, so like he reestablishes right here. And look, there's a guy breathing down his throat right here. So Richardson never has the opportunity to reestablish himself and then be able to make that throw. So again, like say whatever you want, but that plays on JT because JT failed the exchange and Richardson never had a chance to be able to make the throw that he wanted because he never got a chance to actually reset himself.
Yep, 100%.
All right. And then we got this one right here. And and so this play is definitely, I looked at this several times, Cody, and I can't look very far beyond anything, but like but obviously he was going to try to go to Granson underneath and it's just not open. I mean, there's nothing open. And on top of the fact that, again, within a few milliseconds, he's got more pressure just breathing down his throat. I mean, there's just nothing to do here. I mean, there's just nothing to do with this play.
Right. And your first read's covered up there. So, and especially if you're under pressure, it's like, well, not a whole lot you can do in that instance.
And like for this too, because like, okay, so potentially Anthony Richardson could potentially try to hit something down the field, like way beyond here. Mm-hmm. But like, even then there's only 4 yards of gap between these two right here. I mean, even if Anthony Richardson decided right here in this moment to just let it loose, I mean, he's getting destroyed by this guy right here. So, I mean, it's just a blown up play from the get go. And then this one right here, and this is the Ashton Doolin drop. So,
yeah.
I mean, this, Cody, was one of those ones where you're just like, I mean, this is almost as good as it can get. Obviously, it's a little bit out. It's a little bit off. It's not 100%, but at the same time, like, if you're Ashton Doolin, you got to know where you are on the sideline, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to get those feet in, man.
You got to get those feet in, man. Doesn't matter if if you're going to get no yardage afterwards. You got to know where you are on the sideline. You got to be able to make this catch because this is a 40-yard completion here, Cody, if he gets his feet in bounds.
Yep, exactly.
So, again, a 40-yard pass that should have been a completion taken off the board because Ashton Doolin didn't know where he was on the sideline. So,
yeah.
Now, this is one right here I will definitely knock Anthony Richardson for because, again, you have 3 people right here. Any of these guys. I know that there's a line of guys back here, but, like, you have 3 guys right here that are open right there in the flat. I mean, you had an opportunity as a quarterback to hit any of these guys right here. And on that, and you notice he pump fakes. And I don't know. I think he second guessed himself here, Cody, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and again, it's 2nd and 15. You're within your own 10-yard line. You just check it down to that instance. You know, you just try to get back some of those yards to make it 3rd and manageable. I mean, like Jonathan Taylor right there, he's beyond 5 yards. So, I mean, at least it would have been a 3rd and less than 50. It would have been, would have been a little bit more manageable. Probably not the most manageable, but I think, yeah, he just overthought that one 100%. That's on him.
And then the 3rd and 15, the next play after, again, like I totally do not agree with this throw. I mean, obviously he's trying to make something out of nothing here, but I mean, this is just an errant throw. I mean, this is just an errant throw. Everything in you should tell you to throw it to Granson down here, but he doesn't and tries to make more out of it than what he does.
And trying to play hero ball a little bit there. You know, he's gotten better about that, but still there was a few plays in this game, especially in that 4th quarter. And I mean, to be fair to him, Derek, you're down 21-6. You're trying to make a big play.
And not to mention your weapons have been failing you all game and your O-line's been failing you all game. Like, I'm sure that there was a sense of urgency from Anthony Richardson to want to try to get something going there.
Yeah, but still, you don't throw where there's 4 defenders sitting right there. Yeah, just not a great throw there. But yeah, so to be fair to Richardson, not a great throw, but
So this one right here, 3rd and 3, would have liked to have seen him. You know, you have JT right here in the flat. You know, like I think that should have been your immediate go-to. Obviously, his eyes are down the field here. I don't know what he's looking at specifically, but I don't know, Cody. And this is a particular situation where, like, I feel like his eyes need to start shifting to guys that are right here rather than some guy that's 20 yards down the field. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, it's 3rd and 3. So yeah, I mean,
so again, leads me to wonder, like, if you're Steichen, again, why are you designing a play where you have 2 of your best wide receivers going 20, 30 yards down the field when you're trying to just get 5? You know, like, why do we not have more here? What's so bad about being here? And this is another sight on, like, again, he had an option here to hit this, and he definitely should have. But if you're telling him that his 2 best options are down here somewhere, then what kind of message are you giving him? right? And then on top of it, I mean, Dalton Tucker getting blown up again. Go figure. He's getting blown up all game. So now you're in a situation where he doesn't know what to do, and he doesn't ever get himself set, and he just lets the ball trail, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, kind of panics there, loses his base there, and just kind of throws that away out of pure panic of literally avoiding a sack there.
And then this one right here, another Josh Downs attempt here for this was the right after Josh Downs had hurt his shoulder. And again, he beats the safety on this. Just again, just a hair, Cody. A hair.
Yeah.
I mean, hold on, let me go back to that. I mean, this is just like that AP ball before, just a hair off. Just a hair. And, it feels like a lot of those deep passes are like that. I kind of want to see his throwing motion again. And, I thought that was pretty good throwing motion. He had his feet in a pretty good spot. Overall, I thought it was a pretty decent ball. Just obviously just had a tiny bit too much.
Yeah.
And then I think
again,
this is
like for everyone he does that, he hits another one like Alec Pierce right on the hand. So
right,
it happens. He'll have to definitely get better at that. But just a little miss there. He had a couple of those.
And then this right here, again, it's one of those things where 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, bam, he's like, there's already pressure up the gut. Dalton Tucker gets beat again, and there's pressure up the gut, and then Richardson has to. Cody, I mean, Dalton Tucker was getting absolutely destroyed in this game. And this is another one of those things where, again, nothing's open downfield. I mean, look, so right here, again, nothing's really open. Like, even if he hits Pittman right here, I mean, even if he attempts to throw this right here and there, I mean, who's to say this guy doesn't, see it right here, or the safety doesn't jump the route, so like, Pittman's the only one that even has a chance for this. And the problem is like, if you look at it from one frame to the other, so right here, he's already starting to shift backwards because of the pressure up the gut. So he's already shifting backwards, and he's not stepping forward, and he's not able to make this throw. So again, a direct result of the pressure being applied, and then it just blows up the whole play. And honestly, Michael Pittman is not actually that wide open. I mean, the safety is right here. I mean, he's not that far behind him. He's only 3 yards behind him. I mean, this doesn't really get much. He might complete this, but like, yeah, I mean, again, Josh Downs is open here. He could have potentially hit this. And Lord knows, maybe he would have had an extra second. Maybe he would have just hit Kylan Granson in the flat. But again, that's the problem. That was the problem.
Yeah, he's running for his life there. And if he actually has a clean pocket there, Derek, I do think he could hit. He could have hit Michael Pittman potentially there over the middle. But he didn't. He was already backing up before Pittman was even open. So, yeah, I mean, Derek, I think the biggest thing we see is offensive line play matters. I mean, it's clear that it matters. It was a major issue. It definitely held this offense back. Like we said, AR wasn't perfect. He had a few throws that he wishes he probably had back. A few just hairs off, like just that close. But what were your impressions, Derek, overall from watching this tape?
I mean, yeah, there's still a lot of things to work on, and no doubt Anthony Richardson's still not even close to a finished product. But again, these are just the incompletions. I mean, this doesn't even include all the plays that Anthony Richardson did make that got called back because of his team's inability to not commit penalties and self-inflict wounds. And then, like we saw quite a few of these, the couple drops or the incompletions that, the receivers, had they just done their job better, this would have been might have been a different outcome, honestly. And no doubt that, and there was a couple throws where some of the throwaways, I appreciate it. And I like the fact that Anthony Richardson did it because, like you said, Cody, there's been a few times where Anthony Richardson doesn't do that, or decides to play hero ball instead, but lives to play another down, right? So definitely think that was not too bad. You're facing a good team and you're going to have issues like that sometimes, but I definitely think he played a lot better than his box score showed.
Yeah, and the things like you mentioned, the things that you didn't show, the penalties, some of those big plays erased. I have a stat for you, Derek, before we wrap this thing up. So this is according to Andrew Moore. So shout out to him. And I put this also in the studs and duds from on the main channel. But it said altogether the Colts had 8 offensive penalties on plays that totaled 98 yards. 79 of the 98 were passing yards on 4 completions by Richardson. So obviously, Derek, that is huge right now. We showed some of the drops, some of the miscommunications. So you think about that, Derek. AR had what, like 128 passing yards? You throw that in alone right there, he's near 200. You throw in, if some of those receivers would have caught the touchdown, caught some of these passes. I mean, AR is well over 250, probably near 300 at that point, with maybe a couple passing touchdowns. So that is the difference, Derek, and that's why it is the ultimate team game, for better or for worse, when your tight ends aren't catching the ball, when your offensive line is literally having instant pressure applied to your quarterback. I mean, all that stuff adds up. Derek, I'll always remember going back to that Super Bowl between the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Kansas City Chiefs. As good as Patrick Mahomes was, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defensive line was just dominating, and he couldn't do anything. I mean, what everybody would say is one of the GOATs of football at the quarterback position. He couldn't do anything because his offensive line was not helping him at all. So if that happens to Patrick Mahomes, I'm not saying AR is Patrick Mahomes, but it can happen to anybody. And that's the reality when your offensive line fails you and you have multiple guys who are dropping passes. AR can't make the guys block at the end of the day. AR can't make guys catch the ball or be ready for things. Like, he can only correct what he did wrong. And he had some issues, don't get me wrong. But I think it shows overall, Derek, that this team definitely, I would say, failed AR more than AR failed the team on Sunday. And hopefully they get it corrected, because he definitely, when you look at the stats alone, they definitely don't tell the whole story 100%.
Yep. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. That's us reacting to all the incompletions that Anthony Richardson had, some AR film. And again, that's not all of it. So again, more context to that. We could potentially do more. But that's going to do it for this one, guys. Leave us your thoughts. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, go Colts.